I felt like doing something a little bit different, so we're going to start doing a bit of a Q&A series. I don't know how well it's going to go, but that's what we're here to find out. So over my time on YouTube, I've gotten a lot of the same sort of questions, and I felt like it just made sense to answer those questions in one place, rather than repeating my answer over and over and over again. So a lot of these questions are compiled from those sort of comments, other ones are sort of like multiple comments merged together, and the first question I have is one I know I'm going to get after this video goes live, and that is, why are you copying DT, Luke, Mental Outlaw, or insert your favorite YouTuber here? I know that most of you guys understand this, but when you have a genre, there are only so many things you can actually talk about. Now, obviously, Linux is a massive world, and I could probably spend the rest of my time on YouTube doing nothing but just reading man pages word for word. But there's only so many things inside of the Linux genre that are actually worth talking about, and when you have something that's timely, let's say it's a news topic, let's say it's the Freenode situation, obviously there are going to be multiple videos by multiple people on that topic, because it's just something interesting that everyone wants to talk about. I don't think that when you have a topic, the important part of the video is really the topic. If you just want nothing but the information, you can go read the documentation, you can go read where it was sourced from. I think when you watch a video, the important part is what the person has to say. This is the reason why I don't do distro videos, because I just don't really have anything of value to actually add to any of those topics. Next up, Brodie, why are you such a weeb? I have absolutely no idea why you would ever ask me that question. I have no idea whatsoever what you could be talking about. What they're probably asking about, though, is the Iron Mouse, actually this one, the one I've got on, and the Nana's hoodie that I've been wearing recently. So, I, in my old videos, like way back at the start, basically wore nothing but anime shirts, and I haven't done that in videos for a while, so there's a lot of new viewers who just don't even realize that was ever a thing. All I'm doing, really, is going back to my roots. This isn't anything new. I just haven't done it for a while, basically because I haven't actually owned any anime shirts. But Vishojo was doing a merch drop, and I was like, hey, I want to buy this. It's winter, it's cold, I need a new hoodie, and now we have new hoodies. As for buying it yourself, it was pre-order only, so unless you can find it on the secondhand market, there's no way you're going to be able to get it. Next up, Brodie, what is that wallpaper, and can I get a link to it? So this is a meme edit of the death of Julius Caesar. So one of the guys in my Discord was like, hey, it would be funny if I just took a bunch of people involved in the Linux world, mainly Linux YouTubers, and just edited onto this. Also, it has Richard Stallman and Luke and Linus from Linus Tech Tips. Don't ask why, that's just what happens. And yes, you can get a link to it. There'll be a link in the description down below. While I'm still on my desktop, Brodie, what is that mono font you're using all over your system? So probably for the past maybe year, maybe even longer than that, in my terminal, in my status bar, basically anywhere that I'm using a mono font, it has been JetBrains Mono Medium. I feel like medium is a nice sweet spot, basically. Anything thinner, I find it hard to read. Anything heavier, I find hard to read as well, and it's just feeling a little too bulky. Medium is just where I'm comfortable. Now, it is a programming font, so it probably has ligature support. I don't use ligatures though, so I don't actually know. And there is a patched version if you want to use it with nerd fonts. Back when I first started doing videos though, back when I was on i3, I was using Source Code Pro Medium. It's still a really good font, but I just prefer the look of JetBrains Mono. Brodie, are you British, English, from the United Kingdom? No. Stop asking me this question. Do I sound like this?
Because like all the best games with clickers, where your clicks mean something, but idle games seem to be slowly becoming the standard, which is like the clickers, like in clickers, you click until you automatically clicking and no longer need to click, and the idle games kind of start at that point. And it's a distinction that no one other than me really cares about.
The answer to that question should be no. If it's anything besides no, I don't know what to say to you. Australians do not sound British. Go watch like Outback Truckers or something, and you will actually understand what an Australian sounds like. Even more bizarrely, Brodie, are you Amish? Mate, I run a Linux YouTube channel. No, shouldn't that be fairly self-evident? I know I have a beard, but people besides the Amish can have beards. Brodie, why is your voice so annoying? I guess we've already established this. I'm Australian, that sort of comes with the accent. I guess I could turn the accent up and do an entire video like this. I don't really know what I would say, because having an accent like this, it's really weird to talk about a computer, because usually the only people who speak like this live in the middle of nowhere and don't even know what a computer is. Brodie, why don't you try X program? So if you've watched my research streams, you would know that I have somewhere in the realm of 1,000 things on my video topics list, so I am more than happy to try out some random application you want me to try. Whether I'm going to get to it in a timely fashion, it sort of depends on how awesome I think the application actually is. There's been a lot of occasions where someone suggests something and I just move it all the way to the front of the queue. Other things, though, I'm just like, okay, it's a cool app, but there are other things I want to do before that. But if you do suggest a video topic, probably 9 out of 10 times, it does go onto my topic list, as long as you're not suggesting something like, hey, review my dot files, because there's not really an interesting video I could actually make from that. Brodie, can you bring X person onto the podcast? So there is a very, very small list of people that I have no interest in actually talking to. Anyone else, I am more than happy to take suggestions and try to get them onto the show, but trying is all I can really do. Ultimately, the ball is in their court, and if they decide, okay, I'm not interested, or maybe sometime in the future, that's about as far as it can go. I can always ask them again, but if they decide they have no interest in being on the show, I can't force them on. My podcast has about 600 subs, so I can fully understand why someone just wouldn't think it was worth their time. If that's what they decide, I don't hold anything against them, that's up to them. Brodie, why do you have so many lights? Now, the light in front of me, this one is to make it so you can actually see me in this room. Without that one, everything would look awful. But you might notice you can actually still see the side of my face and also the top of my head. And that's because I've actually got a light off to your left-hand side. That is one of my fill lights. I've also got one up there. That is another fill light. So basically, those lights are just to capture any of the spots that are being missed by my main key light. They're not exactly required, but they do make me stand out more against the backdrop. Now, as for the backdrop with my two RGB floodlights there, basically the reason why I have those is because they look cool. I could just have like a plain, let's see if I can do it, a plain wall there, but that kind of just looks boring. Yes, I could light up the wall, but I can't really mount anything there. If I had like a server there, that would look cool and I wouldn't need them. But without having something there, it just makes the scene look really boring. As for why I block out all the natural light and use nothing but fake light, basically these lights are easier to control. If I allowed in natural light, the scene would change as the day progresses, and I'll need to modify these lights, and it'll just be a massive pain to handle. Brodie, do you do YouTube full-time? Short answer is no. At 17k subs, there's just no way to make enough to actually pay all of my bills. Maybe at 30 or 50k, it would actually be doable. So I don't make it much of a secret how much I make on YouTube and Patreon. If you combine them together, it works out to be about 650 Australian, which is by no means a small amount, but I would need about double that to actually be paying my bills. But I wouldn't want to quit my minimum wage job to make the same that I make at my minimum wage job. Maybe one day it'll happen, but today is not that day. And lastly, Brodie, how long do you plan to do YouTube for? Honestly, I have no idea. I have no idea how long I'm going to own my car for, let alone how long I'm going to do this job for. I could be doing it 5 years from now, 10 years from now. YouTube could shut down next week. I have no idea. I'm just basically riding the wave as it goes. Maybe something will take YouTube's place. Maybe it'll be Odyssey. Maybe it'll be BitChute. Maybe it'll be something that comes after that. I don't see myself stopping the video production thing anytime soon. Whether I stop doing YouTube is a whole nother story. I know that's not a great answer, but I'm 23, I don't know. I've got plenty of life ahead of me to make dumb decisions. Let me know what you think, and if you have any questions you want to ask me, let me know in the comment section down below. So that's going to be everything for me, and before I go, I would like to thank my supporters. So a special thank you to Joachim, Donald, Logan, Michael, Andrew, Nathan, David, Carl, Mitchell, Will, Brennan, Chico Bento, Jamie, Joseph, Josh, Peter D, Stephen, Tease Through, Tony Dushar, and all of my $2 supporters. If you would like to support work, the links down below to my Patreon, subscribe, style, Libra, that sort of stuff. I've got my podcast, Tech Over Tea, available basically anywhere. I've got a gaming channel called Brodie Robertson Plays, which I stream on twice a week, and this channel is available over on Odyssey. So that'll be everything for me, and I'm out.